color. The continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, Ryan O'Neill as Rodney Harrington, Barbara Parkins as Betty Anderson, Tim O'Connor as Elliot Carson, Christopher Connolly as Norman Harrington, Patricia Morrow as Rita Harrington, James Douglas as Stephen Cord. Peyton Place.
Eli Carson plays a waiting game. He has come to the White River Airport to meet his son, Elliot, returning from New York, where he's been searching for his daughter, Allison. If time is on his side, Elliot will be in Peyton Place for the birth of his second child. Now Eli can only wait impatiently for the plane to land. Eli knows that if the modern miracle of speed is to outrace the age-old miracle of birth, every moment will count.
Elliot! Elliot, right here!
How's Connie?
Oh, just fine.
You sure?
Bless her.
And the baby?
Everything's going just as it should. We'd better get your bags.
But has the baby come yet? I mean, am I too late?
As far as I know, he's still on the way. What about New York? You find out anything about Allison?
What are you changing the subject for? I looked at it. You're holding anything back from me.
I'm not holding back anything from you. You shout ahead, and neither's Mother Nature. If you don't get a move on the stub blathering, we're going to be late.
Take it easy, Grandpa. I'll get you there. Now, give me the keys to the car.
Don't you want me to drive? You must be kind of
No, I'll
tired.
feel much better with my foot on the accelerator. Now, please, Dad, stop treating me like the typical nervous father. See, now that I know, there's nothing more to worry about.
Elliot.
Except getting there, that's all.
Elliot?
What, Dad?
The baggage, the luggage, your bag.
Oops, all right, all right.
Mr. Cord.
Hello. What about the baby?
We're still waiting.
Well, then I'll wait. How about it, Miss Cho? Will you hold my hand and pretend I'm an expectant father?
When Mrs. Cord is in our maternity section, it will be my pleasure.
Well, what happened to your old archenemy?
Oh, people change.
You know, I like Miss Cho's suggestion about our having a baby.
Oh, well, what's the hurry? Darling, we're still newlyweds. Almost.
We'll always be newlyweds, but don't wait until we're the Carson's age, huh?
I won't mind if we can still be that much in love. They have a wonderful marriage, except for what happened to Allison. I only hope the baby can make it up to them. Stephen, it's got to be perfect. Tell me that nothing will go wrong.
That baby will be a paragon of infant perfection. In fact, I bet that baby will even look a bit like its older sister.
Oh, no, it's got to be a boy for their sake.
I was thinking about that on the way over here. How it'll be for Elliot if he has a boy. To see him for the first time and think, this little guy's mine. He's going to bear my name. You know, no matter what a man says, Betty, no matter what he pretends, he always wants a son.
Oh, Betty! Steve, did I get here on time?
Well, she's still in the delivery room.
Well, Connie, is she all right?
For how long? I asked because when they come early, it usually happens very quickly unless there are complications.
Now, that's old woman talk.
How do you know, anyway? My wife is in there some...
Elliot?
Elliot. What, Dad?
Elliot.
Oh, let's hurry up, and then just to wait is all.
I know, but it's good to be here.
I want him to be so strong. I want every bone in him to be full of health.
Well, suppose he is she.
Oh, no. Connie thinks it's a boy. I mean, she knows it's a boy, and she's a little closer to the situation than we are.
Well, now, this is something you have to consider. Suppose the doc comes out and says, congratulations, Mr. Carson, you have a fine daughter. You'll have to face up to him.
Well, if he's a girl, then I mean, if it's a girl, no, if the baby is a girl...
You'll be disappointed.
Well, for a while, I suppose.
Years and years ago, when they were building the pyramids in the desert, I was sitting on a bench like this waiting. And I wanted a son. Oh, my, how I wanted a son. But your mother wanted a girl. She didn't say so. She pretended she didn't care what it was, but she really did care. She wanted a girl.
And she got me. That's not very much of a bargain.
Yeah. I danced a regular jig, and then I felt terrible because I knew she wanted a girl, and she must have been disappointed.
Well, if Matthew turns out to be a girl, well, I'll just have to get used to it, that's all. I mean, I love her.
It's about time you got what you wanted, Elliot.
Dad, I've got a home, I've got a lovely wife.
It's about time you got everything you wanted.
Elliot? Your wife has just given birth to an 8-pound, 2-ounce, very healthy baby. You have a son.
Hello?
Betty, this is Martin Peyton.
Mr. Peyton, how did you find me here?
It took great genius. When the Carson phone didn't answer, I made the obvious deduction.
She had a little boy, 8 pounds, 2 ounces.
Boy, huh? Yes, well, when can you come over here?
Well, you want me to come to the house with Stephen, or?
Alone. And I'd like it to be as quickly as possible.
Well, I don't know.
Are you coming or aren't you?
Tomorrow morning?
What's wrong with now?
Well, that's impossible. I have to see Mrs. Carson.
Then I'll expect you after you see Mrs. Carson.
I wonder what the old man wants.
I didn't think you'd be that interested.
Betty, this may seem strange, but I want you to go see him.
Stephen, hasn't he tried to hurt us enough?
This doesn't concern us. If it did, I wouldn't ask you. My defense of Lee Weber's future may be at stake.
Just because I do or don't visit Mr. Peyton?
I need to find out what pressures my mother put on Anne on the day of her death.
And you expect Mr. Peyton to tell me?
Well, not specifically, but you might get him to talk if anyone can. Now, you have a way of sensing things.
Stephen, why don't you say what you mean? You're asking me to spy. Now, before it was for us, for our interests. Now you say it's for Lee Weber.
I am Lee Weber's lawyer, Betty. I owe him the best defense I can come up with. Now, that defense is linked with Martin Peyton and my mother. I'm convinced of that.
He'd never expect me to feed him any information. I think I made it very clear how I feel about his scheming.
Precisely. And he's counting on it. Your loyalty to me. Whatever he wants from you, he'll make you think is in my best interest.
Stephen, you're being much too subtle. Now, what would Mr. Peyton want with me?
I think I know what he's after. He wants to get you to get me to call off the dogs of war. Get me to drop Lee Weber's case.
That's just a guess.
Well, I want to be sure. And then I'll know they have something to hide.
But what if it doesn't help? What if it harms you or me or the both of us?
Miss. Connie.
Elliot. You made it.
Yes. I think it was very considerate of Matthew to wait for me.
Connie, thank you for my new grandson.
He's going to like you, too. Have you seen Matthew?
No, not yet, but just as soon as they let me.
He's going to be an athlete, all right. He came into the world crying and kicking for all he was worth.
You were a
Mr. Carson.
Congratulations, Doctor.
Thanks.
May I add mine, too?
You've made two people very happy. I'll never quite forget Elliot Carson's face after he told me he had a boy.
I don't think I will either. Excuse me.
He's still very lonely. He hasn't begun to forget Anne's death.
Did you expect him to?
Do you think I might be able to see my wife again tonight?
You'll have to ask the doctor.
She's about as personal as an old wash basin, a steel one.
What's that?
That battle-axe in there in the green tater sack.
Come on.
Oh, doctor, I've got Mrs. Carson into her bed.
Fine, thanks. Mike. Oh, sure, go on in. Don't let her get tired.
Right.
Excuse me.
So, our son has leg muscles already, eh? Maybe he'll make the football team when he gets to college.
And break that beautiful nose. Matthew. Gift of God.
Should be gift of Constance.
I'm glad we decided to name him after me.
I hope he grows up to be as fine a man as his uncle.
I want him to be just like his father.
You mean in every way?
Or maybe not quite as messy about throwing his socks and shirts about the room.
Come on now, you can't expect a small boy to have a neat bedroom.
I don't know. This is my first small boy.
Mine, too?
We'll learn together.
The three of us. Oh, Connie, I'm going to raise this son of ours like no boy's ever been raised before. I'm going to pour every ounce of knowledge and experience I have into his head. And then I'm going to have him do his own thinking before he accepts one single word of it.
Elliot, going to give this one everything you never had the chance to give Alice.
Yes. Yes.
Any news from New York?
Nothing. Just a foolish, frantic... Nothing. But I know she's all right. I can feel it in my bones, Connie. Just a recurrence of the amnesia. And she'll snap out of it someplace just like that. Darling, I know what you were thinking. You think that God gave us Matthew to replace Allison. I don't believe that. We have a daughter, and she's coming back.